States of America has had no hesitation in boasting its status as one of the most progressive countries in terms of fostering equality. To prove this fact, one must not look any further than the national creed. In order to live up to this standard, this nation has done everything in its power to right its wrongs. Enter affirmative action, which according to the Cornell University Law School Legal Information Institute is a set of procedures designed to eliminate unlawful discrimination between applicants, remedy the results of such prior discrimination, and prevent such discrimination in the future. While this sounds appealing by definition, there is fierce opposition to this concept, especially when referring to racial affirmative action. Opponents of affirmative action call it reverse discrimination by favoring disadvantaged minorities over the rest of the population. However, to gain another perspective on the situation, we have to venture back 500 years to the times of one of the most polarizing political figures the world has ever hosted. Enter Niccolò di Bernardo de Machiavelli, the mind behind The Prince, a writing that outlines the methods a ruler must utilize in order to be truly great. Instead of worrying about ethics, Machiavelli encouraged leaders to do whatever it takes to get the job done.
Therefore, it is better to have a name for miserliness, which breeds disgrace without hatred, than in pursuing a name for liberality to resort to rapacity, which breeds both disgrace and hatred.
Affirmative action, no matter how morally unjust it seems, will continue to shape the selection processes for the country's universities and workforce. To truly understand affirmative action, one must go back to its roots. The term affirmative action was first coined during the Roosevelt administration in regard to benefiting lower-income workers with economic security. However, it was not until the presidency of John Fitzgerald Kennedy that the policy of affirmative action first came into effect in the United States under Executive Order 10925, which stated,
"The contractor will take affirmative action to ensure that applicants are employed and that employees are treated during employment without regard to their race, creed, color, or national origin."
In the workforce and college admissions, affirmative action is used as a method of increasing and sustaining diversity, which helps spread new ideas, giving more opportunity to lesser represented groups by having a more lenient acceptance protocol towards them does this. Without affirmative action, the institutions using affirmative action claim that they would not be able to achieve such diversity, which poses the question, doesn't this principle of believing that minorities cannot compete with the rest of society appear racist in itself? Listening to Machiavelli, our question is answered. The Machiavellian mindset simply refutes it. Some words from his writing are,
"The vulgar crowd always is taken by appearances, and the world consists chiefly of the vulgar."
Following the logic used in this mantra, maintaining the stance that affirmative action is racist without considering any other realistic factors is superficial and unsophisticated. This initiative of affirmative action was simply a means of making up to the colored ethnicities which the United States had discriminated against for many years prior. The ideology behind affirmative action is that due to the racism that minorities have had to face, they have not been able to capitalize on the same opportunities that have been available to the rest of the population. Another issue that is seen with affirmative action, especially in college admissions, is that it negatively impacts certain demographics, mainly Caucasians and Asians. Oftentimes, minorities with significantly lower scores than those of Caucasians and Asians are admitted into higher institutions over those majority groups. While this may not be considered fair, and it is likely not, the final result must be considered. If only the most qualified applicants received admissions, then there would be little representation over certain groups. It is an unfortunate truth that is undeniably backed by statistics. Although having different standards for different ethnic groups is morally unstable, it is necessary in order to keep racial balance on campuses and workplaces. As Machiavelli put it,
"In actions of all men, especially princes, where there is no recourse to justice, the end is all that counts."